Good morning. Since this is going to come out on Tuesday morning, I'm happy to be back. Actually, I'm always grateful to be back. I don't take anything for granted. Life is short. We never know when our number is up. And I have heard some sad stories this week of young people who have passed on for whatever reason. And there are young people now in our hospitals. So I'm appealing to your better angels and also to your intellect to say, be like the other folks in the country. I am hearing voices of reason. Voices who want masking, who want to make sure their children are protected, who are demanding vaccines for the kids, and the courts are upholding their wishes, even in places like Texas and Florida. Because there are folks who really care and understand that if you are not vaccinated, you're at risk. Look, we now have over 148,000 people infected with the virus. We're going over 900 deaths a day. That's terrible. When will everyone take notice? Our kids are not all right, and they're susceptible to death, sure, not in the hundreds of thousands, but in the thousands. But if you're a parent, like I am, you don't want to see any of your children die. That's not how it's supposed to be. Children should not die before their parents. It's a crime. It's a horror to have to witness something like that. And it's something you never get over. So COVID, we're lucky in this country. We have access to the best vaccines. Soon, all of us who have been vaccinated, and truthfully, it can't come soon enough, are going to get our third shot. And there's no excuse not to be vaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, you're putting vaccinated people at risk, plus yourself. You are now cluttering up the ICUs with your body that doesn't have to be there when there are cancer patients and other people who need those beds. COVID is curable. It is curable with the vaccine, with masking, with good sanitary conditions, social distancing. We can survive and thrive. This way, it's a national security problem. We actually shut down the Senate this week. I'm sure Chuck Schumer didn't want to go home for recess. I was on a call with 650 other people in the Jewish Religion Action Center, a Zoom call, and he assured all of us that he was not going to take recess until the voting rights bills were passed. So look what happened this week. 3 senators just came down with COVID. He didn't have a choice. He had to recess the Senate. Wicker of Mississippi tested positive for COVID, and I think he's gotten the monoclonal antibodies. He was vaccinated in December. The other 2 senators were also vaccinated in December. John Hickenlooper of Colorado and Angus King of Maine. Schumer had no choice. Sure, he would have liked to have passed the voting rights bill, but he can't. When 3 senators are testing positive, and who knows how many folks in their staff are going to be positive, or whoever else they met, had to close down the Senate and recess. Everyone's got to get well. They got to quarantine. It's disturbing our economy. If you don't care about your children and you don't care about the rest of your family, well, you got to care about the economy. You think people are going to go back to work when they're scared of COVID? Or their unemployment benefits have been taken away? How are they going to live? How are they going to get transportation, food, whatever it is they need to survive? And now it's a fact that in those states that took away the unemployment benefits, the folks have no jobs to go to anyway. So everyone's just home, starving, and there's no revenue in the state coffer. I don't call that a win-win. I don't think you should either. People who want an exemption from religion for the vaccine? Hey, what religion? The Catholic Church has already said it backs the vaccine. So now in at least 6 archdioceses, the priests and the bishops and everyone else in this country are coming together and saying, there's no need for an exemption. You got to take the vaccine. In the Haredi community in Israel, there is a voice of reason. One of the head rabbis said he has no patience for anti-vaxxers. No, he said he believes in the vaccine. So how is the ultra-Orthodox community going against the will of people they're supposed to respect? That's your head rabbi, and you're not listening? Shame on you. Means you don't care about yourself, your children, or the country and the economy. That's not freedom, folks. Freedom is when we do what we want and we don't harm others. That's freedom. That we make choices that not only affect us, but are cognizant that it affects everyone else positively. And once we get rid of COVID, well, then we can go on to the other problems that are important to our world and our survival, like the extremes in heat. The UN says these extreme heat waves are going to kill 1 billion children. 1 billion children is horrible, and it's a dreadful thought. And it's even worse when you think of the elderly. You think of folks who have asthma or emphysema. You think of people with comorbidities like heart conditions and diabetes and hypertension. And pretty soon you've eliminated more than half the planet. So who's going to be spending money? Nobody. What kind of an economy are we going to have? You won't have water. You won't have resources. You won't have crops, because rice is failing too. All over the world, we're going to have to re-engineer rice, since half the planet depends upon it, and it can't grow under these conditions. So let's wipe out COVID together, and then we can tackle all the other problems that affect us and start living life to the fullest again. Hey, I'm going out to a restaurant and eating outdoors, and somebody wants to meet me for coffee. Those restaurant guys are starving. They're not making the money they used to make. I'm going to eat a little more or take out when I have my coffee, just so I can keep people employed. I care. Do you care? I hope you do, because I want to be here tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and the day after that. And I don't take my life for granted. And I'd like to be able to see you in good health all of those days as well. We're lucky, remember that. In America, we're lucky. We have access to vaccines, we have access to masks, and all we have to do is take the opportunity to protect ourselves and everyone else. It's our countrymen. It's their life, yes, but it's our economy also. Think about it if you think you're this capitalist that wants to preserve your immediate world and the world of our country. You can't do it if everyone's sick. Who's going to go to work? Think. Think beyond your immediate needs. And God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Won't say I can count on it, or you can either, but I certainly hope to. So, bye now, and I do hope you have a glorious day, because we the people, our voices are shining brightly, and we're overturning the bans on mask mandates, and we're also claiming to have moratoriums on fossil fuel gas stations. California, that's what the people want. No more drilling, no more gas stations. They got enough. Time to invest in research and development and bring up the alternatives. Wind and solar are real cheap.